Foam rolling, I do want to go over this really quick. I had a chance to chat with a few of you at the beginning of class, and I encourage you, if you have time, to please try this out. This is for tissue quality. It's called self-myofascial release. It's basically self-massage. And what you can do is basically use this on any area of the body that gets tight. And it's actually a good idea if you have time to foam roll before and after your workouts for tissue quality. And I know time is tight for everybody, and squeezing in every little thing is tough, but once you get on one of these a couple times, it's easy to fit in. It's wonderful. So what I'm doing here is I'm bringing my elbows together, which is opening up my scapula, allowing the foam roller to go in to those rhomboid muscles in my upper back, creating pressure on the muscle, breaking up those trigger point knots, and basically allowing that fascia to release. You can roll that all the way down the back. The more body weight you put on it, the more intense it's going to be, obviously. You can do this for your hamstrings. You can do one hamstring at a time like this. You can also use both hands and do 2 hamstrings at the same time. You can work it all the way down to the calf. You change your foot position, supinate, pronate. And then, my least favorite, because it's the most painful but very helpful, step over, let the foam roller go straight across your leg, turn away, and then you just roll it up and down that IT band. And then, this one is my most favorite. This is for the latissimus dorsi, big muscle on the outside of the back. A lot of people that have shoulder trouble, sometimes you can bring it back to having trigger point knots in your lats. And think about it, we want to have a happy home for our shoulders, right? But if we've got all this tension built up in our shoulders because these muscles are tight and those rhomboid muscles are tight, it's not a very happy home. But if we loosen those up, this is a little bit aggressive. If you notice, I'm all the way off the ground, so all of my weight now is distributed on my feet and on my lat. And I'm just rolling that roller. I love it. I love it. I get really tight on my lats, and this one's wonderful. You can modify it. If that's too intense, go ahead and let the knee rest on the ground, and you can roll it up and down over a smaller area that way. Last one. And again, you can use this, be creative, and work it anywhere you like. This one's kind of an alignment for your back. You have your tailbone right on the edge. Bring your arms out in a T. Push your lower back into the foam roller, and then you're going to roll it side to side in this direction as well. So that's the foam roller. Since we're low on time, I'll just move on, but anybody is welcome to try that, and I can send you the link to get one of those too. And then real quick, nutrient composition for recovery. So you have a really great workout, and you have about a 30-minute window to get something back in. So
Paul actually has these here.
Oh, yes.
Help you on these slides if you want to get them. If you got to go back to your office and change them.
Thanks, Delos. Yeah, I do have copies of those, and then I've got my cards up here too if you want, so I can just email you the slides too. So real quick on these, carbs post-workout, 30 to 60 grams, 10 to 20 grams of protein, 30% fat, and basically a 3 or 4 to 1 ratio of carbs to protein. There's kind of a big push, high protein, low carbs, but carbs are actually more important post-workouts. Definitely get your carbs in. Here's some quick examples, instead of just throwing percentages at you. Bars are great just because they're quick and easy. You can carry them with you anywhere. These are just some of many that are great. Look for that nutrient composition though. If it's got 2 grams of protein and 75 carbs, that's not very good. And saturated fat up the wazoo probably. My favorite is chocolate milk. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second, but it is actually one of the best things you can take post-workout. And that's quick and easy and tastes pleasant if you ask me. Or just having some yogurt, cottage cheese and fruit, peanut butter and jelly sandwich, anything that has a good source of complex carbs, simple sugar carbs, and protein, preferably low in saturated fat. So they did this really interesting study on chocolate milk. They compared it to Endurox and Gatorade. And they found that chocolate milk was better post-workout. And it makes sense because it has a full amino acid profile, which neither one of those other two drinks have. It has vitamin D, potassium, calcium, And then, of course, I think it has a pleasant taste too. But if you want to check out that study, it was by Carpenter, 2006. It's really good. So there's always low-fat chocolate milk in my fridge. Post-workout, have a little bit, and you're ready to roll. So I'm sorry I zoomed through the last little bit of that. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody want to try the foam roller? Anything I didn't cover that you guys want to hear about?
What are we going to do with the ball?
This, I was just basically going to show you a number of things that you can do with it. It's kind of like the Bocey ball. There is endless possibilities. One of the best things you can do is a squat. Sometimes people don't have very much hip flexibility, and so if you start them on a standard squat, for example, like this, the hips are inflexible and it puts a lot of pressure on the lower back. Even if you just do a bodyweight squat, sometimes those hips just don't get in the right position. But if you notice here, you can put a ball against a wall like this. It's going to go right in the lower back. Feet are going to go out away from the body, so I hit which angle? 90. So if to show you, if I stood right against it and I squatted down, I've got that nasty acute angle I was talking about with the knees over the toes. So I want to step away. And look at that. I've got that nice 90-degree angle. Knees are over the toes. And I don't even have to worry about my hips. I'm just putting my body weight against the wall. Somebody that has really, really bad hip flexibility or knee pain usually can do at least partial range of motion on this. So that's just one thing. Those planks I showed you earlier, if you want to make them a little more challenging, you can do a ball plank. You can have a roll. That can make it more challenging. A dynamic exercise for hamstrings that I really like. Instead of that leg curl machine, I think y'all know how I feel about machines in general, right? If you put the ball underneath your calves and lay on your back and flex the ab muscles, you can put your arms in a T for balance if you like. Raise your hips up and pull that ball in. And what exercise does that look like? Leg curl machine, right? But what's different about it?
Dynamic.
It's dynamic. I pounded that into your heads today, I guess. The core is engaged, right? I'm using my abs and my lower back to stabilize my body on the ball. I'm pulling it in with my hamstrings, but everything has to balance and stabilize. That's what makes it three-dimensional. So, what else with the ball? You can do presses on the ball. Like say you don't have a bench, but you have dumbbells and you want to do bench press. You want to support your neck and upper back with the ball. Don't let those hips sag if you can. Try to push your hips up. And voila, you've got yourself a bench. And I like to do presses on the wall like this sometimes just because, you know, shake it up a little bit. Adaptation is the key with strength training. If you do the same workout, no matter how good it is, you do the same workout all the time, your body's not forced to adapt. That's where strength comes from. We talked about how it's neurological too. If you're doing the same thing all the time, there's no neurological adaptation, there's no hypertrophic adaptation or strength muscular adaptation. Your body's not going to get any stronger, no matter how good it is.
That's the muscle confusion.
Yeah, muscle confusion. That's exactly right. So, any other questions? I think most of you have my cards. If you don't, I've got them up here. Ask me questions. I love to write workouts. If you want me to write a little workout for you, I'd love to show you more things. So, it's my favorite thing to do. All right, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate everybody staying. I'm sorry I ran over.